ridiculous. And we happen to own another property adjacent to this restaurant. Mm-hmm. So then the employees called in and reported that, and so this employee was not on the Ponderosa property because we couldn't, the police, what the general manager of the restaurant told me, she said, the police have given us orders. If you step off the sidewalk, we are to call the police so you can be arrested.
Oh, brother.
And so, anyway, he went on this adjacent property. Then they called the police about that. So then the police came out and arrested him and took him down, and then he was released shortly thereafter. And they charged him with loitering.
See, this is the way things operate in a communist state.
Yeah, this is Gestapo. This is German Gestapo tactics.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They make their own laws, and if they don't like you, you're done.
Yeah, the Nazis and the communists. This is the way they behave.
This is pure prejudice and discrimination. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just because one of the board members happens to be from a different ethnic background, a different color skin, that's what they do. And this, town, Shawano is like an all-white town. It's run by white supremacist racists, and that's the way they operate. So if they don't like you, fine, you're on the blacklist, and they're going to try to drive you out of town. That's what they've been trying to do to this school now for over 30 years.
Boy. And I'll bet a lot of those people call themselves Christians.
Oh, yeah, that's... we won't go there this time.
I know, but, most of my listeners understand when I say that exactly what I mean.
Yes.
And I know...
In name only, right?
Yeah, exactly. They wear the label.
That's right.
Yeah.
They go to the mainline churches, but they have nothing to do with God at all.
Exactly, Cal.
But anyway, then Naomi was telling about this employee. Then what they let because I interviewed him too. His name was Barney, but he went back then and started taking pictures again. And then they started calling his name, so he just called him, called one of the employees' name back. So then they called the cops because he was calling him names. Cops came and they arrested him again. What did he get charged with this time?
I think he got charged with disorderly conduct.
Yeah, it was disorderly conduct. So he can't call a name back, but they can call him every name in the book. But when you respond, then you're the bad one and you get thrown in jail. They didn't arrest any of those employees for not only calling names and obscenities, but also hauling out and stealing and thieving all these hundreds of $1,000s worth of equipment. None of that was done.
Oh my gosh!
And then then after I don't know if you want to get into this right now, Naomi, but after the whole place was vacant. It took about 14 hours for them to completely, suck out everything that was in the store. Everything was on the walls. Everything that was attached was sawzalled off and ripped out. And, then I went in, like I said, I went in to see, and take pictures of the inside of the restaurant and the kitchen.
Right.
You might want to describe a little bit, Naomi, what you saw there, what we saw.
I guess what I saw was shocking because we own another restaurant, which we operate ourselves in Shawano, and the health inspector is there endlessly. And in fact, when we acquired this restaurant, which it's part of a hotel, it's a restaurant at a hotel that we own, this health inspector has been. She looks for things to find problems with us for. What's
her name?
I believe her name is Lisa Lucht or something like that.
And she's based out of Green Bay, the health inspector down there.
So, and in fact, yesterday during this whole incident, she showed up at the scene.
In fact,
she was in there for a couple minutes, and then for whatever reason, hightailed it out of there in a hurry.
I don't know if she. I arrived. I was there a number of times off and on during the day. So I drove in, and I saw this huge lady, running out the door like, she was scalded or something. And she jumped into her car, and I went over there. I ran over, and I took pictures. And she was in her state car.
Oh, gee.
She saw me and took off.
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't want her picture in one of my articles.
Right.
But it's interesting that when she went to as Naomi was saying, when she went to this motel that the SIST had acquired, she wrote up 6 pages of violations in the kitchen that they had to be corrected, otherwise they're going to shut the restaurant down in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, this kitchen, and this is my own word, a pig would not even live in this kitchen. It was mold and filth and grease and, cooler doors with, duct tape holding them on.
Oh my gosh.
And flies. There were so many flies you could barely see the. It was a sty. It was an absolute sty.
Now
Tiles falling off the wall and.
This is the kitchen that they were.
Of the Ponderosa.
And that they were scavenging. Yeah.
After they stripped it all out, it was just like
nothing but filth.
Oh
nothing but filth. Now, if Lisa Luck had ever looked into that kitchen, which she probably never did, she just was blind. She looked the other way because it's one it belonged to one of her own people, not owned by one of her own people was running it. So she just looked the other way. She obviously came in there a number of times. And
I mean, they went to the extent of they obviously. Under the lease, it was their responsibility to maintain everything. The parking lot, the roof, the inside, everything.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was obvious that not a dollar of repairs had gone into this property in years. And I mean years and years.
Well, they were putting all the money in their pockets.
That's right.
I mean, that's obvious. They didn't pay rent, and they didn't repair the building, so it's obvious it went in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, this building... In the kitchen, the ceiling is covered with black mold.
Oh my gosh!
Half the tile's gone, and the other it's got plastic and cellophane.
Like Saran wrap.
Saran wrap tiles.
It's the tile is pieces of Saran wrap taped together. That is the ceiling tile.
Oh my gosh!
I have never seen anything quite like it in my life.
Oh.
And
Any health inspector, even with one eyeball, would have shut the thing down 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, look the other way, because they're one of their own people.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is a sight to behold.
Oh my gosh.
So with the support and protection of the police, they entirely pillaged the place. I told the police it's not that when I, said, can you please help us out, the police said, no, it's a civil matter. I said, no, it's a criminal matter. This is theft.
Yeah, it is.
And property damage.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing anything. If you have an issue, it's a civil matter, and you need to stay off your property and not obstruct it happening. And...
that's just...
And one of the employees... there must have been a bunch of them. They kicked out one of the kind of security doors to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a lock on the outside, but they kicked it out, and literally the SIST people had to kind of squeeze the two parts of the door together, and then jam it so it shut. I mean it's all bent, and they ripped the hinge, and it's just they did all kinds of property damage, and then they left, and they were taunting, SIST people.
Yeah.
And they were just because they had the full support of the police department, because they knew that they were their friends, and they said, well, they're here to take the place. We're with you. Never seen anything like this.
There's a gas station. This restaurant's located at an intersection. Across the street is Walmart, and then across the street the other way is a gas station.
Yeah. So
all throughout the day, they're taking stuff, hauling stuff out of the restaurant over to this gas station. And one of the people that was there throughout most of the day, or at least for several hours, hauling stuff out. One of his stunts was to get up, and there's a manual reader board attached to. There's a big sign, obviously, on the front of the property.
Mm-hmm.